I didn't expect Ann Widdecombe to be murdered. I didn't expect to spend as much time as I now do with counter-terrorism. I didn't expect to receive hundreds of death threats over the course of the last few months. After all that time, at 56 years old, he's suddenly Prime Minister. He doesn't want to say and do tough things. He wants to say things that are popular. That's why I say there's a touch of the Boris is about him. You know, there will be a terrorist outrage in this country by somebody who came into this country by a boat. It has got to stop. There's been a pile-on from the entire establishment on a level I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. And it's like every day you wake up and you're guilty.
I think Nigel Farage is the way forward. I think this man can reform our country, reform Clacton, mate. He will take us to victory. He will reform this country.
Have you seen the voting list?
It's a metre long.
It's nearly a metre long.
I don't think it's fair to say that there's two main candidates, because obviously only one of them is part of a legitimate party, which is Count Binface.
Have you met Count Binface? Do you like him? We're here in Clacton, where an historic by-election is taking place in just a few days. Nigel Farage is defending his seat. He was a local MP, but he chose to resign so he could ask the people of Clacton, the people here, whether or not they still supported him in the face of what he sees as an establishment attempt to stitch him up and ruin his reputation. We're going to speak to Nigel, we're going to ask him how confident he is and what this by-election is all about. Nigel, thank you so much for making the time for us. What do your voters, your constituents in Clacton make of all this? Do they understand why you've asked for this by-election?
Most do. Most do. I mean, the odd person says, oh, you know, there's no need for it, we voted for you 2 years ago. But the vast majority completely understand the logic and the reasoning, which is frankly, ever since May the 8th, when we woke up and we'd won East Anglia against the Tories, we'd won the north of England against Labour, we'd become the official opposition in Wales, the joint opposition in Scotland. It's as if there's been a pile-on from the entire establishment on a level I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. And it's like every day you wake up and you're guilty. You're guilty of something every single day. And just reached a point when, and look, you know, I understand that there's a free press. I've always been one of those people that argues there should be a free press. I totally understand that, you know, all's fair in love and war and all the rest of it. But when you start dragging my family members into this, that is a very, very different matter. That annoyed me. And I said, I just can't go on every day being judged guilty. I'll ask the voters, because, you know, they see the news, they see the media. I'll say to the voters of Clacton, you know, you decide, you be my judge, let the people decide. And most people I speak to get it.
Have you been a bit shocked at the level of attacks on you? I mean, when you came back into politics in this way, you must have known it was going to be hard, but did you expect it to be like this?
I didn't expect Ann Widdecombe to be murdered. I didn't expect to spend as much time as I now do with counter-terrorism. I didn't expect to receive hundreds of death threats over the course of the last few months. Yeah. I didn't expect all of that. I mean, look, as I say, I know it's a rough game. I've been around a hell of a long time. I mean, I am the sort of surviving veteran of all of this, really. Yeah. But no, it's been really, really nasty. And I think, you know, we've seen over the last decade or so cancel culture. You know, this speaker can't go to university. I'm afraid that deep intolerance from the modern left is now of a level where they literally want people of a sensible centre-right just not to exist, not to be able to say anything. And there's something else going on here too. We have had, basically since the end of the First World War, two parties dominate British politics. Yeah. One runs it for 10 years, then it's your turn, old boy, you have a go. And everything around it, whether it's appointments to the House of Lords, whether it's government contracts, in the old days we'd use the word patronage, there is a whole system, a whole ecosystem of government and business that is built up around the two-party system. And I think above all what's happened is we've come along as a massive challenger, led hundreds of opinion polls, and it almost feels like they don't want us in the game.
Yeah, and the other major parties are not standing against you. Have you met Count Binface? Do you like him?
I've not met him, no. He's an extreme left-wing BBC comedy writer. You know, he writes the sketches for the now very unfunny Have I Got News For You? So he's not quite the joke character that you would have thought. I have spoken on the phone to the leader of the official Monster Raving Loony Party. I've known Alan for 20 years, and they have had one over on the electoral system because they officially endorsed three candidates. And no one's ever done that before in British politics, so they're absolutely wetting themselves with laughter. One or two of the independents have reached out, but look, I mean, when David Davis did this back in 2008, I think there were 28 candidates, now there are 34. I will say this, that in this area, the Conservatives have done themselves the most enormous damage. A lot of voters on the door say we are deeply insulted there is not a Conservative candidate. And I say that in the context that as recently as 2019, the Tories got 72% of the vote here. And they're just not here at all. So long term, it's really odd. 2 years in a row, the Tories tried to stop the Essex County Council elections from going ahead. They went ahead because of a legal action that I brought. They don't want a general election, and they haven't put a candidate up here. So I think long term, they've made a really bad error.
Now, we're going to see what the voters of Clacton decide, and I'm sure you're not taking them for granted, but it looks like you might win. But if the other parties were standing, how confident are you that you would still beat the Conservatives and beat other parties?
That's why they're not standing. It's quite simple. That's why they're not standing. You know, Labour would do incredibly badly, and I think the Conservatives would really struggle to recover even from their 2024 result. That, above all, is why they're not standing. I mean, this is the uniparty. They all decide together not to stand, to try to belittle it, to effectively, I mean, Ed Davey officially, of the Lib Dems, officially endorsed Count Bimface, and Kemi virtually did. Virtually did. And so a lot of voters say to me, hang on, this isn't a joke. Whether you agree with Nigel's reasons for calling the by-election or disagree, it is an election. There are 80,000 people here who pay their council tax, who've paid their income tax, who have a chance to vote for a member of parliament, and the established parties are trying to turn it into a joke.
Are you still confident that once this is out of the way, eventually, with enough hard work and enough time, you can go on to become Prime Minister?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, politics is a game of snakes and ladders. Anyone that tells you they can read the tea leaves and know exactly where we're going to be in a year's time, you know, that's not possible. But I still think that the strength of reform support is across the board. And I think after the absolute battering we've had from every angle, you know, we're still there. We're still there. So yeah, I'm still very confident we can win the next election.
Labour's polls have gone up a little bit since Andy Burnham became leader. We don't know how long it's going to last, but is Andy Burnham more of a threat to you than Keir Starmer was? Do you think he's maybe a better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer was?
Couldn't be worse.
Well,
I mean, come on. I mean, you know, look, you know, Keir Starmer may have been, he might have been good at what he did at the Crown Prosecution Service, and he rose to the top of the tree, and he got his knighthood and all the rest of it. He had no political touch. He just didn't. And it's a skill that you've either got or you haven't. You know, you've either got the ability to be messy at football or you haven't. It's something within you. And he just didn't have it. And I think he became very petulant. A sort of constant chucking of abuse and insults everywhere, never anything really positive to say. He just wasn't the right man for the job. Burnham, of course, has had a much longer training. I mean, Starmer was late to politics.
yes.
He was late to politics. And by the way, I generally think that's a good thing. From what I can see, Andy Burnham has done nothing other for decades than politics. So he's much more trained and skilled in that sense. But I think we're learning something quite quickly. There's a touch of the Boris Johnsons about him. I'll tell you what I mean. Boris always wanted to be popular. He always wanted to say what he thought the audience in front of him at any point in time wanted to hear. Boris liked being liked. Burnham, take the PC Harper case. The killers are going to get early release. And Burnham hears that and says, no, this mustn't happen. We can't possibly allow the killers of PC Harper to have early release. So he's told the country what he thinks the country wants to hear. A week later, we learn the killers of PC Harper are going to be released early. And this will catch him out. If you keep telling people what you think they want to hear, rather than the truth, as leader. And I think one of the reasons people respected Thatcher And in some ways, Blair, was they were prepared to say things the country didn't like.
Yeah.
And leadership, I'm afraid, you have to say things that are often very, very unpopular at that moment in time, but try and take the country with you. And I just sense that probably if you've been in politics as long as he has, and you've been a cabinet minister, you've been a mayor of a major metropolitan city, I just kind of think, after all that time, at 56 years old, he's suddenly Prime Minister. He doesn't want to say and do tough things. He wants to say things that are popular. That's why I say it was a touch of the Boris is about him. And I think already, in the case of PC Harper and one or two other things, it's starting to backfire. And do you know what? I mean, if I employed you to come and work for me, right? New job. And I think, what a great guy. And
Wow.
well, I hope so. but you'd think, what an opportunity I've got. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If you said to me after a fortnight, I'm going on holiday, I'd say, really? Sorry? Are you serious about this or not? And I get it that, you know, people that work hard deserve a break, and it's hard to have a break, but I do think just a fortnight in with a country that is, I mean, heading towards, frankly, financial bankruptcy in terms of our debt and rising provisions, to have gone off on holiday for a fortnight is a very, very, I have to say, you know, it's horrible. I was away last year on holiday. On day 3, there was a massive fire here in the centre of Clacton. We didn't know if people were dead, and I came back because as the elected representative, I just had no, the family weren't very pleased, but I had no choice. So I think for Burnham, it's an odd decision.
Rupert Lowe is not going to be Prime Minister, but he could make it harder for you to become Prime Minister. Now, I'm not going to ask about all these texts and emails and who said what to whom, but what's happening with Restore? Restore seems to be taking away some support from Reform. Why is that happening?
Some of our support has, but some of the support he's got is not stuff that would have voted for us anyway. Why? Well, he's got Elon Musk backing him, and he's good at social media. There's no team, it's just him. But they've been good at social media, and they've, not so much him, but some of the people around him have said things that are pretty extreme, or very extreme, and there is a market for that. It's not a huge market, but there is a market for that. I mean, look, his so-called reach out, let's see whether it's meant with sincerity or not. But I mean, if we are rivals, but I want to do a deal with you, I don't do a broadcast video in which I make demands. I contact you privately and say, can we have a meeting? So look, am I prepared to talk? Of course I am. I'm prepared to talk to anybody about finding common cause. But the set of conditions that he's laid down sort of indicates he doesn't really mean it.
And it sounds a bit from what you're saying as if there are some opinions that are acceptable within Restore, which you would not find, you would not want coming
Well,
into
I mean, there's
Reform.
one commentator who's a very prominent supporter of Restore, you know, who was interviewed on quite a big podcast, who basically said to the interviewer, well, you're Jewish, you will have to be deported. Now that's pretty way out there stuff. And I would, to use that word again, I would disavow that person completely, and Mr. Lowe hasn't. So there are some issues around that clearly are a problem. Equally, there are many people who like what he says on social media, who are not like that. I'm sure the majority of people who say, yes, I like Restore, are not like that. They're decent people out there. And we have to make the argument to them, in a sense, similar to the one you just made to me, that if you go in that direction, you make it less likely that we're going to win.
Will France cooperate with the UK? Is France sincere at the moment, as far as you can tell, in terms of, because we're paying them, we're giving them large sums of money to
Paying them? We're giving them $1 billion.
Yeah.
We're giving them $1 billion.
I mean, are they doing their end of the deal? And can you persuade them to?
Look, there's a couple of points here that matter.
Yeah.
The first is we've given them a huge amount of money, and yet their navy still escorts boats from 200 yards off the shore all the way to our 12-mile line and says, there you go, lads. That is not acceptable at any level. Secondly, life is hell for anyone living in Dunkirk, Calais, Ardelot, Wimereux, all along that coast. Thousands of young men camped out. If the boats stop coming, the lives of people in northern France would be considerably better. Now, the other aspect is, safety at sea. UK Coast Guard were in 2021 told that every single dinghy crossing the channel should be treated as a dangerous case. These boats are made for one-time use only. It's balsa wood in the bottom, chucked on top of a bit of super glue. We had 170 in the drink. Yesterday, miraculously, all saved. We know of 170 deaths in the channel. I'm sure the true number is much, much higher than that, and I've thought that for some time. This policy will save lives. This policy will save money. This policy initially, the French may not like, but you know what? They're going to have to lump it. And I think we underestimate the sort of people that are coming. I mean, so we had Lee Anderson, who was out in Lune Plage this week, one of the big. With him was one of our press officers. She's a blonde girl, late 20s, being told by these young men that want to come into our country, they're going to rape her, kidnap her. These are the people that are coming. And of course, oh, you can't say that, it's racist. You can't say that, it's Islamophobic. No, this isn't about race or religion. This is about culture. These people come from countries in which women aren't even second-class citizens, and we're letting them in. And your paper every week covers some horrendous crime that's been committed by people that should never have come here in the first place. And add to that, I said to Parliament 2 months ago that I have it on good authority that Iran is using the boats to smuggle their terrorist operatives into Britain. And all the Labour MPs shouted, shame on you, or shame on them, because it's now been confirmed that's true. There will be a terrorist outrage in this country by somebody who came into this country by a boat. It has got to stop. And if that means in the short term upsetting the French, we're going to do it.
There are 34 candidates standing in this by-election, which I believe is actually a record number of candidates for a by-election, but there's nobody from the Labour Party, nobody from the Liberal Democrats, nobody from the Conservative Party. In fact, the main opposition to Nigel Farage has become a man called Count Binface. Actually, that's not his real name. He's a comedian, a comedy writer. He writes for the BBC and for other people, but he likes to stand for election with a bin on his head. And about 1 in 5 people might vote for Binface according to some polls, but it looks as if Nigel Farage is going to win quite easily. But there's been some criticism of the other parties for refusing to put forward candidates of their own. So the real question is, what do the people of Clacton think? They're going to make the decision when the vote takes place in just a few days. And what Nigel is asking is, do they still support him? That's what we're going to ask them too. So let's go and speak to some of the people of Clacton.
The idea and the plans that he set out, they do sound good. Whether he can actually make that happen is another thing, because sometimes in hindsight what he wants to do is good, but can we change? Some things are so far gone now. Can we bring it back and make it? Because as a working family, we should be able to enjoy life more than we do.
What do you think Nigel needs to do? He needs to get people back into work.
Yeah, there is a lot of people has no education, zero. They drop off. They don't have even the high school. Majority of these people, they have no. And here I'm not talking. I'm talking about school-wise. Yeah. They are so uneducated. No school. No experience. They just blaming the foreigner.
Yes.
Whatever foreigner in this country, they pay hell amount of money, isn't it? So I think in terms of cutting this, we should cut the benefits first and send them to work to see how is to pay basically taxes and how is to work 12 hours a day.
To be honest with you, I would love one of the comical ones to get in and for them to win and then say, thank you, but no thank you, I don't want it. I just wanted to prove a point that we really don't want Nigel, anybody but Nigel, even if it is a comedian with a bin on his head.
And the fact that he's even held this by-election, what do you think? Why do you think he's done that?
Oh, it's just a big show because of the all the controversy that's going on about the donation.
We love him.
Yeah, why?
Well, we think that he don't get in, this country's had it. You might as well all move out, because he's going to be no if he's not here. He's the only one that's going to do what we all want him to do.
And what are the things that he'll do?
Well,
for a start off, he'd get us out of Europe, out of that
ECHR
thing. He'd get us out of that, and he'll do something about the migrants.
I think it's ridiculous that he would get. People think that he's an illegitimate man due to a mere donation from a good heart, from a good place. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think everything's okay. I don't like how he's being slated. They're weaponising the media to bring him down.
Yeah.
I think it's nothing wrong with the donation. All is okay.
It will prove a point, won't it? It'll prove a point if the people of Clacton actually want Nigel Farage. They've got plenty of runners now. There must be about 30 contestants.
34.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If they wanted someone other than Nigel Farage, then they will make it clear. If they want Nigel Farage because he's got good qualities, then they'll stick with him. It's to put it up to the public.
There's been some fuss about Nigel's finances, the £5 million gift that he received.
Yeah.
Does that bother you? Is that a problem?
No, because when you look at it, they're all doing it. You know, they've all got skeletons in their closets. And to be honest with you, after what happened with Ann Widdecombe, I think they need the money for security.
I think he's basically just whipping up a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but a lot of people's prejudices. There we go.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll never stop the boat people coming over. They're just too many. The organised gangs are too well organised. Never stop them.
They all do that. We had it with Starmer, with his wife's dresses and his glasses, and the other one that didn't pay a tax on the property she had. They all do it. They all do it anyway. I don't really care if he's got 200 houses. He earns 10 billion. I don't care. People are not interested in the slagging off of each party of that, this finance, that. People are not interested in that. What they want to do is they want to get the country sorted out. And if he's the man to do that, then that's the way to go.
I can't see the point of why he stood down. No. Have you seen the voting list?
It's a metre long.
It's nearly a metre long.
It's a record. I understand it. It's a record.
They've got to think about the size of boxes on the day, because, you know, we just fold a piece of paper up and put it in, don't we? You can't fold a metre piece of paper up. Seriously, they've got to get new boxes.
It's kind of a waste of money, isn't it?
It's a complete waste of money.
Yeah.
So Nigel Farage is defiant, he's up for the fight as he always is, and the people of Clacton, from what I could tell, the people I spoke to, they still seem to support him, but there's a lot of disillusionment with politics in general, people wondering whether any politician is going to give this country the type of change that it needs. The vote here in Clacton takes place in a few days. The big question perhaps is how this feeds into a future general election. Will it affect Nigel Farage's chances of becoming Prime Minister when that big vote takes place?